Audio Jungle.
What's up, guys? Mike Penta here with the Mind Gym Podcast, and today I have my guest, David Plumy from Shoreline CrossFit, and today we're going to talk about different triggers that help you be successful at reaching your goals. So I want to welcome Dave Plumy. He's been a gym owner, a business owner for about 8-9 years now. We opened our gyms around the same time. He opened before me, which he can brag about, but it was about 3 weeks. So, all right, well, welcome, man.
We're now Shoreline. What's up, brother? Nice to be here, man.
Yeah, Shoreline what? Athletics?
Shoreline Athletics, home of Shoreline CrossFit. We rebranded about 2 years ago. So
awesome. So yeah, today, guys, we're going to talk about goal setting, which, you've heard me talk about before. And we're kind of going to, Dave, what brought Dave here was I had a conversation with him a few weeks ago, and I was talking to him about goals and, how I believe that people who set goals is probably one of the most important reasons why they're successful. And he went on to say, I believe that, but I also believe that there are triggers that get people to be able to accomplish their goals or set them to make them set new goals for themselves. So I was kind of guess I thought about it a lot lately because I was like, dude, you need to get on the show and talk a little bit more about what you mean. So, I just got him on the show and now he's here. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about his background as a fitness owner, what he sees in the fitness industry, where he sees it going, and we'll kind of go from there. So yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, what your background in fitness is. When did you get, where did you start as working out? Like what drove you into the fitness industry? I mean, you could have been doing anything. What got you to fitness? So
I won't make this too long. But I opened up the gym at the age of 30. So I always wanted to be a business owner. Once before, I wanted to open up a boot camp gym. So when the opportunity of CrossFit came around, I was all over it. I started off in CrossFit Milford. Before it was CrossFit Milford, it was called the Underground, which was a boot camp boxing type gym.
Did Jay own that too?
Jay owned that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Jay Leiden. So, who's kind of a big deal in our industry. So, our gym, Lauren and I were going to a gym. It was called Creative Health and Fitness, and they closed down. And a bunch of us from there were looking for somewhere to go. And we were the type of people that were flipping tires and running up bleachers and doing all sorts of crazy workouts. So you can't do that at Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness actually bought them out.
Yep.
So we were just looking for a home. And so I think someone put a flyer on Lauren's car on our window talking about this gym. So maybe it was Jay Leiden, maybe it was someone else. We decided to go. It was crazy. It was $75 a month. I looked at Lauren. I'm like, no way are we paying that for.
So you just backtracked. So before you were with Jay at that gym, you were at Creative Health and Fitness?
So we were at Creative Health and Fitness first, sorry. And then the gym closed down, and then we ended up going to Jay's gym, the Underground.
$75 a month.
$75 a month.
Compared to $10 a month. It's a lot of money, man. People don't realize what we do. It's not a lot of money, but compared to what else is out there, it seems like a lot.
But honestly, Lauren and I have been invested in fitness for so long that, we looked at that price point and we're like, awesome, we'll probably get a lot for that. So we went there and it was fantastic. He then later became a CrossFit gym. He was already in the process of doing that. Ben Kelly came from that gym as well. Just in that, being a member in that gym, I just saw obviously an opportunity to be a business owner in the Shoreline area. But I was just so inspired and so moved by the program. I mean, I love the fact that it wasn't about aesthetics. I love the fact that it was about performance. I love the fact that there was no mirrors. I really love the fact that I could be working out next to the CEO of a company, right? Grinding, hustling, killing ourselves for 100 thrusters for time, whatever the workout may be. But I also love the fact that I was able to work out along someone like my mom, who's never done anything like this before, completely stepped out of her comfort zone, and she was able to motivate me and vice versa. So that really drew me to CrossFit. So let me try to fast forward this a little bit. About a year plus later, after being a member of Jay's for a while, I told him, and he was fully supportive. And then I think I may have just, I talked to my business partners, Kelly and Lauren, and I may have just started buying of equipment, and I may have just signed the lease on my own.
Without even
kind of like starting the process going, even though they were fully on board. And then I left my job as a finance guy. I was a commercial loan officer for JP Morgan when the banking industry got really, really tough. I downsized myself. I took a job at a smaller bank, and then I got recruited to work for the SBA as a commercial loan officer. I did really well for myself. I was making $100,000 a year. I was getting 5 to 6 weeks vacation a year, company car, cell phone, all that stuff. And I was really good at it, connecting with people and business owners. And my background's in psychology, and I had a sales background, so it worked. But money's not my driving force, and at the end of the day, this serves me so much better.
Yeah, we talked about that before. Everybody, it's all about what your goals are and what you're looking to do. But we talk about that, and I think that you kind of. Money can't be the driving force. And I say this every single time on a podcast. When it comes to the fitness industry, people have to be the driving force. Other people's success has to be your driving force. The money will come. And of course, we all need to make money. We want to make money. We need to make a living. But that can't be the driving force in the fitness industry. I've just seen it too many times that people who are all about the money, trying to make money fail because they forget what's really important. Like, we are in a service industry to help people, to help change people's lives, and that's one of those things. Like, again, you're on here on my show. I didn't pay you to come on my show. You're taking time out of your day to give people who need help or who are trying to get, healthier or more fit. You're going to give them the knowledge and information that you have to help them out. Like, we don't get paid for this. This is all, we love to do this. And again, it's great making all that money sometimes, but at the end of the day, sometimes that's not what makes you move. That's not your trigger, which we're going to kind of talk about again today. Like, different things have to, be a trigger to make you want to be, reach your goals and be successful. So yeah. So, now you're in the fitness industry, your gym opened up, and I mean, I remember you when I had just come down because my parents are from the area where you're from, and I just stopped.
I remember that day. It was a power clean workout.
Yeah. And I got roasted by, what's his name? It was like 185 pounds. And I'll never forget this day. There's some things you just don't forget.
Was that Kurt Garceau in the class?
Garceau, yeah.
He's such a beast.
Kurt Garceau was absolutely manhandling 185 pound power cleans. And so you and Blanco, Adam were there, and Adam walks over after we did the outside portion of the workout, the sprints, and then Alan took weight off of my bar.
I took weight off your bar.
All I remember was it was still the inception of CrossFit. We were still in this game very young.
Do you remember what you did when I took weight off your bar?
I took Garceau's bar.
Correct. You walk over to his bar and started.
So this is in the beginning. Yeah. In the beginning of CrossFit, in its inception, you got to understand, I was a Division I college athlete. So I mean, it just.
You didn't tell me you owned a gym. You didn't tell me you were going to open up a gym. You didn't tell me you were a stud. You came in.
And I wasn't a stud. I was still learning stuff because in CrossFit, dude, we just all sucked. I mean, there was no Olympic lifting was still so new. I mean, it's old, but it's new compared to what the hell we put in a workout. Like, nobody did Olympic lifting and then went outside and ran sprints and did burpees. Like, that's just not how Olympic lifting went. If you were an Olympic lifter, you focused on one aspect of Olympic lifting. So to me, it was like, whatever, dude, I can do this. I can do anything. Yeah, I wasn't going to tell. I don't like, at that time, I didn't want people to have any expectations of me in CrossFit. I told somebody I opened up a CrossFit and I walked down to the gym. I didn't want them to be like, oh, this guy's going to be an animal or a savage. I just want to go freaking work out. So he took the weight off my bar, walk over to Garceau's bar and start cleaning that thing. And the workout had chest up bar pull-ups. And believe it or not, I could barely do them at that time because I didn't even know how to kip.
Right.
So I was struggling with that, but I got through the workout, and Garceau crushed me, and Blanco crushed everybody at that time. But I opened up a CrossFit a little differently than you were already CrossFit, and I was the operations manager for Planet Fitness out in Waterford and Groton and all that area out in Eastern Connecticut. That's why I moved out that way. So I went from just working out, regular equipment, gym equipment. College was over, wasn't doing any of that stuff anymore. To opening a CrossFit and then trying to do all this stuff. So I didn't really know what my limits were at that time. I just knew that I was strong, and injury didn't really matter. If someone was doing it, if I had that mindset, if somebody can do it, then I can do it. Whether that was healthy or not, I think I paid the price for that. We all know that I had pretty bad back injury. In the probably 3 or 4 years into CrossFit, we weren't doing anything right. We were just going hard. But now it's completely different. That's what I love about it. It grew. The sport grew. I mean, you see CrossFit athletes now, they lift like they're in the Olympics. I mean, their technique is impeccable. The CrossFit owners, the trainers, everything has evolved like anything else that we go through in this world. It has just evolved. So you go into a gym now, or my gym, and your gym, you see, I mean, technique and form and slowing things down and getting things right before you move faster and move forward is so much more important. It's so much more prevalent now than it ever was back in the day. It was just like go, 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 go. CrossFit was mostly athletes, military people. It was just people who were thick-headed and didn't care. But now again, you talked about you can work out with someone who's in their 80s. We scale everything back for them, and that's kind of where it got to. But we kind of got a little off topic. But I mean, like anything else, it's the way it's grown. And I mean, you go into a CrossFit gym now. I used to really bash a lot of CrossFit gyms, not personally, but just used to say, I go into a lot of gyms. I never really gave any names of specific ones, but I used to be like, they really just don't. There's no terrible form, terrible technique. Coaches don't care. But the more and more I travel now, I train a lot of athletes, professional athletes, boxers. I traveled to a couple gyms in Baltimore. I've traveled around. I see it differently now. There's actually a lot of good coaches out there. There's a lot of good CrossFit gym owners out there. Where before, I don't think I could say that. Until the last 3 years, I think people are focusing more on that stuff, and the results are still showing. I mean, we see people go. I mean, me alone, you too. I mean, I'm still seeing results. I'm still PRing lifts and being successful. I always tell myself that this cannot be this programming, this CrossFit program. I always there's no way this is working as good as it is. And I'm still doing things and still PRing and still losing weight and still getting leaner mass. And it's crazy. The program now I'm all aboard, all about CrossFit. And I really think the programming is the best programming out there. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, the product out there's nothing better. So, but we did get off topic. You were talking about the market and what happened and why we opened up. But yeah, it was so young back then, and right now it's such a different game. And
back then it was, and I always say it was awesome back then, but it was awesome on a competitive standpoint.
Yeah,
the community was a little different. There wasn't as many gyms around. We were all just out competing. We were competing with we would do local competitions, games athletes competing.
Yeah,
that was always fun. I did Beast of the East. Maliolo was there. A bunch of guys were there. But what's his name won the Beast of the East one year. Frazier won the Beast of the East one year. The local competition. We're not talking these are local competitions. This is Tominski was there, so you're competing next to these guys and with these guys all the time. It was a lot different. But now I think that CrossFit and the gyms have turned more into focusing on the member. Yeah. The reason being is CrossFit athletes are very diehard CrossFit, trying to make regionals, trying to make games is such a small portion of the market is so small. That's less than 1%.
Right.
So I think the transition where it was that, and that's all CrossFit gyms cared about was trying to make guys go to the games. It transitioned, and which is going to you'll understand why this whole thing will turn around into my point of goal setting and mindset is it transitioned over to your everyday person.
Yeah. When there's only 10 CrossFits in the state and competition is your only focus and you have 500 members like we did. Yeah. And it's a revolving door. Yeah. You can push competition and everyone's, you're getting 20 members a month. And so, but when competition came into the market and kind of diluted it, I personally think, even though it hurt my pocket, that it's the best thing that's ever happened because it really forced you to run a business. It really forced you to pay attention to those people that are paying your bills.
Yep.
It really forced you to be an awesome coach because you can't be an awesome athlete and an awesome coach. So for me, the best thing that ever happened was struggling a little bit, going through some of those growing pains and some of those shrinking pains.
Yeah.
We lost employees. That was a bummer for me. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to have employees. We had these grand ideas, but guess what? Life doesn't always work out that way and you have to adjust. And the people that have stayed with me, they're unbelievable. The members that have supported our business are unbelievable. And guess what? We're much happier now with the people we have in our gym, even though those other people paved the way for everyone. But we're much happier with the business we're running now, with the community we have now than having 500 members and pushing competition.
Yeah.
We're really helping people now.
Yeah, that's the difference. Is the same thing with me. I mean, it was great. We were the only gym in town in Eastern Connecticut. We were killing it at one point. I mean, we had to keep moving and growing, and we couldn't even fit people.
But what a shitty product that was!
Terrible.
20 people walking in every single month. How do you have a class that moves well?
Yeah, forget that. But you don't even you care about people, but you wind up caring about trying to figure it all out. And how do you service all these people at once? It's a lot to, believe it or not. Growth is awesome, but exponential growth really quickly it sometimes dooms businesses.
Right.
And what what I am, I mean, I don't have, like Dave said, I mean, no gym, I don't care who they are out there, CrossFit gym has the athletes they had if they were in this 8-9 years ago like we were, because it just what it is. It's more of a grind now, but now you need to focus on the right things. Now you need to focus on actually helping people, learning about people, what makes people tick, how to get people results. Where before we were just turning and burning. People, 20 coming in, or 20 coming in, 10 leaving. 20 is always a positive. No matter at the end of the year, we had like 50, 60, 70 new members every year. Even though we were losing people, you lose focus of that. You're just so focused on trying to get people through your door at that time. Where now I love it because all I care about is servicing the people that walk through my door, and that's all it has become. And that's again why this podcast has happened. This is what I've learned about people. What different things make people tick, what make people successful, because now I need the members that I have to stay. And I've become a better owner. And I've been training for 15 years now as a personal trainer.
Man, your kids have made you this new person.
Yeah.
And this market has changed you too, so you've evolved too. So that's been pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, and I've probably become the best trainer I've ever become in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's just getting better and better. I think I was a stagnant trainer for 10 years.
Maybe the fucking loudest trainer I've ever heard because you yell so loud. I love it.
Dude, you got to understand where I came from. Like nobody is quiet in my household.
All right, so let's talk. I want to move on to the next topic. But
Dave is very systematic.
I am. I'm going to keep you on track. So
I'm supposed to be keeping you on track.
One last thing to anyone that's an owner, trainer, aspiring owner, trainer, anyone that has a jiu-jitsu studio, anything like this business. We have this idea of community, and these businesses talk about community, and they post it on social media and Instagram and Facebook, and everything is hashtag community with their initials of their gym. I get it. But when someone leaves their gym because of an injury, what's the retention policy like? Are they getting an email?
Yeah.
Are you still writing on their Facebook posts or liking their posts? If they call you, do you not have time for them? Have you not set up office hours so you can meet with people for those specific reasons when they're down in the dumps? You talk about community. What's the community when someone's down and out and they can't show up at your gym, and they can't show up at your gym, and you can't make yourself available for them? For me, that's not community. Community is having systems.
Yeah.
Community is having a retention policy in place. Community is having the employees that when someone's not in the gym, even though it's not you making that phone call or putting in that email, somebody else is checking up on them. That if they're not able to get to the gym that month or 2 months or 6 months or a year, that when you see them, it's open arms. And when they decide to go to a social at your gym, even though they're not a paying member, that you welcome them with open arms. That's community. Community is the industry out there has this idea of community, and it's not even real.
The community is what you're
systems in place. That is community.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the financial community. People only want to be considered other people part of their community if they're paying them to be part of their community. You know, like you said, you doing a social event. We do a Thanksgiving every year at our gym, and it's huge. It's grown, but we invite every single person.
Oh, I know your community, yeah.
Who's ever been at our gym. They could be working out at a gym 5 minutes up the road. They're still part of our we have a members Facebook page. I've never thrown anyone off the Facebook page.
You're better than I, but
yeah, so we have a members Facebook page. We have never thrown anyone off of that page. They could leave and go 5 minutes up the road. They still get all my posts. They still get all my messages. And you know what? We post something out there, like we have a community event. They could come back at any time, whether they think they can or not. I try to make it a point to be like, hey guys, I think most people, if they leave your gym for a certain reason, they kind of shy about it. But I make it a point that everybody is always invited back to our gym. I just saw somebody hit a PR the other day or today, and I was pumped. I just told her I missed her and I haven't seen her in a while. And I know she's at another gym. It's closer to her house, but it's only 10 minutes up the road. But at that point, I don't care. Like my community is anyone who's doing CrossFit right now. Right. I can help. So you're good.
High five. That's a beautiful thing.
That's what he means about that, guys. If you are a business owner, man, and you want to talk about being a part of your community, make it a part of the community. The community isn't just the people who are paying you. Right. You know, people aren't always going to be able to afford a $150 membership, but you know what? They still need your help, and it's still okay to give them an hour out of your entire month. Out of 30 days, you don't have an hour to be able to give somebody who wants to be there, just can't afford it, and having a little bit of problem, you can give them a little bit of information and tip, or just kind of encourage them just a little bit more, check up on them, making sure they're doing something good. That's community. That's going to make you great. And that's why we're here, sitting here 8 years down the road, and there's gyms opening and closing, and we're still successful. Yeah, we don't have the members that we have, but we're doing a pretty damn good job, I believe, of trying to service the ones that we have. And again, we still have a lot of members, so it's still harder to service every single person, but you're trying to just show them that you care. And that was my goal, and it always is. But let's go back to now talking to the member. Like, this podcast is to try to help people, to talk to members. And I'm very huge about goal setting. The gym's called the podcast is called the Mind Gym for a reason. It's all about setting your mind up for success. So you can be successful in the gym. I always say to you there, and we talked about this before, but you have the athlete who two athletes, they follow the same program, they follow the same nutrition program, same fitness program. One's successful, one's not successful. You start to dive into why the one's successful. You start to dive into one's not successful. And I've always found that the one that was successful had some sort of a goal in mind, set themselves up, smaller goals to reach their larger goal. They kept following it, helped keep them on track. And then you said to me, yeah, but it kind of goes a step further. There's a trigger there. Sometimes you need a little bit of a trigger to get yourself to set a goal, or find a reason why you want to be in the gym, instead of just kind of going through the motions of just showing up every day. Yeah. So now let's dive into what do you mean by that? What do you mean by you have to find each individual's trigger? Talk about that.
Yeah, man, that's a tough thing, because everyone is so unique, So intrinsic motivators, I sometimes call it. I use that on social media. Your why is what I've said a couple of times, or triggers. And that can be a lot of things to a lot of different people. I used to think that everyone should just be self-motivated and get to the gym and crush it and eat clean. But it doesn't always work that way. Life is full with a lot of distractions, and everyone's personality type is really, really, really unique. People like me and you are... Our purpose is not so much to get them to absolutely crush their goals all the time, but it's our goal to create awareness, to make it a cognitive thought process that you should have a goal. Yep. That this is possible, right? But it's really up to the individual. In terms of triggers, I have this philosophy, and I don't know where it came from, but I know that in the last 8+ years that I've been working with people, people initiate change for a couple of reasons. 2 reasons, really. One is some sort of life benchmark, a wedding, a 20-year, 30-year high school reunion, turning 50 or 60. And then there's other life benchmarks, getting up with your college roommates after 10 years. You want to get back in shape, right? Whatever. Seeing an ex-girlfriend, you're going to see her in a year from now. That's kind of like a benchmark. Then there's other reasons why people initiate change, and it's usually like a life event, like your father dies, or you go get blood work and you find out you're not in the best shape, or your wife leaves you, or you lose your job. Something traumatic to initiate change. And generally, those are the 2 reasons. Anytime someone sits with me, that's the first thing I dig for. And you know how I am. I have a psych background. I'm going to finish my master's in psychology. I use theories and this sort of stuff to kind of figure out what someone's thinking, their brain processes, so that I can follow them through the process themselves and hold them accountable. But it's that's what I usually start with. I'm like, so what's happening? And they're like, well, I have this reunion that's coming up in a year. And I don't care if you can find meaning in anything. A birthday party, if you can find meaning in something, run with it. Yeah. And then tell people and tell your coach and ask people to hold you accountable, because no one wakes up self-motivated. Someone encouraged you as a young boy, your coach, your father, your teammate, and it became a thought process, and it became a feeling, and then it became a behavior, and then it became habitual. And then it's like a snowball. Once you get this momentum, the domino effect, you've heard it before, right? It just keeps growing and growing and growing. So in terms of triggers, I think for everyone, I want to know, like, why haven't you thought about this? Why haven't you thought about some of your goals? Write them down. If you don't know what they are, what's your vision for your life? What's your plan? How long do you want to live? How long do you want to work in your current job? Yep. When was the last time you and your husband went on a vacation? Yeah. Like, start writing this shit down, and then all of a sudden things will happen.
Yeah, you'll start to be more. You notice it more. You become more aware of it.
Right.
And that's self-awareness is a huge thing. Is you gotta, like I said, you gotta be.
I mean,
aware.
Gary Vaynerchuk says it all the time. Like right now, and I don't want to go off on the Gary V.
Everybody is, and you know what?
But Gary Vee always talks about like things are changing in this world. Like you have to be emotionally intelligent, which means self-aware, right? The EQ is super big right now. It's a buzzword out there, but just self-awareness and the ability to adapt and change in a fast-paced world. And that's how you have to be these days, right? So I love his philosophy on being self-aware so you can make progress.
Yeah, I mean, I watch a lot of his stuff. I watch a lot of everybody's stuff. I mean, you're just always kind of paying attention to what's out there, especially when I started a podcast. I mean, I didn't really know where to even start with that, but just to start the podcast, I had to have a goal. I had to find what my reason was behind being on this podcast, what I was trying to accomplish and the reasons for that. And now once I've started it, it's like, okay, every time, I hear another story about somebody else, can't do this, or I didn't do this, or it's usually a story that somebody tells me, and I start to seek out people who can answer it. Because if someone has that, that problem or that question, there's other people out there in the world with the same question. So now let me go find somebody who can give them great information or from their experience to help them be successful and maybe accomplish that goal. But the Gary Vaynerchuk, I mean, this guy, I think he's absolutely incredible. The stuff he says to people, he's very true. He's raw. He's one of the first guys that I've ever seen that really doesn't care what anyone else thinks about him. He's got information out there. He's going to try to give it to you and help you out. And it's awesome to hear a guy like that, because not a lot of people are like that. A lot of people hide behind scripts and are afraid of like what a producer is going to say to them or what their image is like, when in reality, like that, who gives a shit about that? You're literally, if you have information and you can help somebody out there, get it out there, because there's somebody out there that can help you. And if that's your goal, that should be your life's goal. I think everybody's life's goal, it should be to try to help somebody, not just yourself. You get a lot more satisfaction out of helping other people. But to go back,
let's go back.
Yeah, to that kind of the trigger thing. Where do you see kind of people, kind of to go off, but to talk about what you were saying? I mean, it's crazy because I worked for Bally Total Fitness a long time ago. It's when I first started. And they did a sales school, which I think was probably the best thing any gym has ever done, actually send somebody to sales school. And that was it. Like, that's all they focused on. It was fine. There's a reason why someone walked through that door.
Right.
And if you want to get them to buy a membership, you have to figure that out and keep drilling that into them. The shitty thing was, once you did that, you sold them a membership and you never talked to them again.
Right.
But you had to find that trigger. Something made somebody walk through that door.
Right.
Find it. And I think as our responsibility as trainers and gym owners we need to find that, and now we need to keep on that to make somebody successful. Once you find out what's driving them to be there, everybody that, whether you care to believe this or not, if they stepped into a gym, they're there for a reason. There's something that made them at that point in time, whether it was a week ago, a month ago, say, I need to do something. Fitness, it's one of those things. It's a luxury for a lot of people. It is a necessity, but people don't look at working out as a necessity, believe it or not. We've been in this a long time. People look at it as a luxury. It's the first thing to go when people don't have money is their gym membership. They'll make sure that they can keep buying their coffee every single morning so they can get through their day, but they'll drop their gym membership to keep their Dunkin' Donuts coffee alive.
Right.
And it's
they don't see value in it, and there's not people that they're actually helping them with their goals.
That's where we need to be. That's what I'm saying is we need to say, okay, this is what's bringing them in, and we need to keep on that. And to be successful as a trainer, to get them to be successful, now setting them up or helping them set up their goals once you figure that out.
Yeah. I mean, I've called gyms. I mean, I'm terrible. Yes, I have secret shopped other gyms.
Absolutely.
I have stopped in gyms. I call them. And, the first thing they tell me is just get in the door. We'll get you into shape. The last thing they do is they ask me about myself. So, and
it's got to be switched.
Yeah. And people need to listen more than they speak, and make sure that when they try to attain a new member, a new client, that it's the right fit. So, but yeah, somebody walks in my doors, the first thing I do, I stare them in the eyes, because human connection is so lost in this world of distractions that why are you here?
Yeah.
And then when they tell me, I mean, I'm buying into it. I've bought into that person. They walk into the doors, they're looking for change. I'm 100% invested. If they tell me they need accountability, they need a text or phone call every Friday morning, or when I drive into the gym at 4:40 in the morning, that's going to happen. But when they're bought in. So then from there, I help facilitate that. I offer them clarity. Now I go back to things like SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. And so when someone says to me, I want to lose weight, right? I get it. That's the goal, but how are you going to get there?
Yep.
And how much do you want to lose? Okay. So let's talk about that some more. Like, well, that means you have to, whatever, you have to eat 500 calories less a day. You have to work out 5 days a week. Okay. So how are you going to do that for the next month?
Now, do you help them? Do you help them set those goals up? Or do you allow them? Are you trying to?
Man, Mike, if someone has the courage or the bravery to step in my office and tell me they have a goal, I am all over it.
Yeah.
I am all over it. And they're not going to just get away with, hey, I just want to do 15 muscle ups. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
There's a reason why they want to do 15 muscle ups.
Correct.
And that's what people don't understand. I try to get that across to the member. Like, there's a reason why you want to do 15 muscle ups. There's a reason. Like, don't come to the gym, I want to lose weight. There's a reason. And that's what Dave's talking about, triggers. There's a reason why you want to do that. Yeah. You got to be honest with us and tell us. And I'll dig. I'll sit there for 20 minutes, a half hour, and then I'll finally get to the point where they're like, oh, yeah, well, I have a reunion coming up. Or, my friend's getting married, and or a friend from a long time ago is getting married, or some people from college. I'm 20 pounds heavier than I was in college. I don't want them to see me like that. That's the driving factor. Don't walk into the gym and just say, I want to lose weight. Everybody wants to lose a little bit of weight. Yeah. Everyone wants to get a little bit stronger.
I think people just need a little bit of cognition, to create some awareness to them. Okay, so you want to lose weight, but what does that really mean to you?
Yeah.
Like, well, you want to lose weight because you want to look better, or you want to feel better, and looking better is a fine goal. It's fine. I think it'll lead to, when you eat well and you look better, you'll feel better, you'll get healthier, and there'll be some value there later on. So I'm fine with that. But yeah, just having those, like, okay, but dig a little deeper why you want to lose weight. What will that do for you? If you're down 10 pounds from now, let's envision this 6 months from now, you're down those 10 pounds, you put in all the work at the gym. Now, how do you feel?
Yeah.
Now, you don't need a trainer or anyone to tell you that. You can do that yourself. A lot of people just don't take the time out to do that. But now what is that? And if you're not happy, guess what? It's not the weight.
Yeah.
It's not the weight. It's proving something to yourself that you actually committed to something, because most people don't commit to anything.
Yeah.
So now let's dig a little deeper and say, okay, so what's this unfulfillment thing that you have that we need to really tackle? Because you don't want to put out the smoke. You want to put out the fire, right?
Yeah.
10 pounds isn't going to make you happy, right? Losing 10 pounds doesn't make anyone happy. I can tell you, you always want more and more and more.
Yeah, absolutely.
You always want to be a little leaner, a little faster, and it's never fulfilling. So you really have to find something deeper than 10 pounds. When someone says they want to lose 10 pounds, when you sit down and you talk to me, listen up, members, when you tell me you're going to lose 10 pounds, we're going to actually talk about it, and we're going to dig deep. And we're going to talk about how you're going to get there. We're going to talk about a plan, and we're going to talk about everything from self-worth and why you're putting the things you are into your body right now to your commitment levels, and what you're willing to sacrifice to get there, and then saying no to people every weekend. Your plans are booked every weekend, and not having the, I wouldn't even say the willpower, but not having the courage to say no. And that gets easier over time. Everyone has the opportunity to paint their life on any canvas they want, with any paint they want, any which way they want, right? With a small brush, with a broad brush. You can write the script of your life. For some reason, the distractions, right, have clouded that vision for people. So they need people like us to just let them know it's possible. I mean, I quit my job at 30. I was making $90,000. It doesn't sound like a lot of money, because I know a lot of people make a lot of money out there, but I only have a 4-year degree in psychology, and I was in finance. I was making $90,000 a year as a salary. Then I got some incentives, right? And I was also a gym owner, right? So I'm making well over $100,000 a year. And I quit my job at the age of 30. I had $30,000 in my checking and savings account, not a lot of 401k. I quit. I went $30,000 in debt, right? Because I had a vision. I had a bigger picture, a bigger plan for my life. It didn't involve saving money. Yeah. It involved my personal goal. Like, I can tell you, like, it's living to 100. Yeah. And I can tell you why that's important to me. And I can tell you, each year how much more excited I get, right? That I'm working towards that plan, sharpening my brain, sharpening the tools of my body, getting fitter, stronger. Saying no each year has gotten a little bit easier, and it's become habitual. So it's
Yeah, two things I want to take out of it as I'm listening to you guys. Again, this podcast is about trying to help you guys out, so you don't have to be in front of a personal trainer or a gym owner all the time. We're trying to give you the information to do it yourself at home. Two things I want to take out of what he said, Dave said, and one is don't let fear. Dave talked about he quit his job because he had this goal and this vision. If you have a vision, don't let fear stop you or kind of prevent you. So if you think, oh, people are I'll use this as an example because it's a huge one. People are going to make fun of me because I bring my meals to work every day. I hear that a lot when I talk to people about meal planning. Oh, people are breaking my balls. People are breaking my stones. And, it becomes to the point where they make you feel negative about what you're doing. Don't let fear, being afraid of what people think or anything, don't let fear stop you from wanting a goal. So if you have a goal, don't let other outside factors stop you from wanting to attain that goal and say to yourself, oh, maybe this is a goal that I want because other people won't look at me the same way, or some people are going to think I'm a little too skinny or I'm a little too, jacked. If you have a goal and that's your goal, don't let fear ever stop you from attaining that goal. It's your goal. And the second thing is, I gave a seminar a few months back about goal setting and nutrition. Don't let other people, like you said, get rid of the negative. People are saying to you, oh, you come out with me. Guys, get rid of those negative people. If you're serious about your goal, those outside factors. I said it to somebody, oh, my girlfriend, says this to me, get rid of her. It's a shitty thing to say, oh, just dump your girlfriend. But if that person's getting in the way of your goals and your own personal success, believe me, they're going to make you a lot more miserable than happy. So if you're at that point, people get divorced all the time because of it. You have to push those people aside. If someone's always in your ear, you need to come out and drink. But that's not your goals and you're just doing it to satisfy other people. Get rid of those people. I've lost a lot of really good friends because I had to get those negative people out of my life. And it's a tough thing to do. But don't let people affect you that way.
Yeah,
okay?
and so I grew up a little religiously. So when you don't even have to stop hanging out with those people.
Yeah.
You can still go out to bars with them, but you can choose not to drink.
Yeah.
I always like the idea, and religion, they always talk about being a light in the dark, right? Being an inspiration to others. It's going to take one person to be made fun of for other people to be like, wow, he's looking really, really good. Or he's making a lot of money. Yeah. And when they find out all the sacrifices you made, they're like, hey,
what'd you do?
What are you doing? And be like, well, what do you mean what I'm doing? You see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm walking around with Snapples in my back pocket. Like, it's, I'm walking around, I'm going to bars, drinking 10 glasses of water. I'm going to the bathroom every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But that's okay because so I create cognition for people. I let them know why they're in certain relationships and conversations and moments and experiences. Most of the time, people just want to go out to be social. So why are you over drinking? You're there to be social. At 10 o'clock, you're losing the conversation. Why are you staying there past 10? So I'm just creating some awareness for people. That's what I do. And then I'm like, all right, so let's try this game plan out. Don't drink. And then when conversations get a little fuzzy, beat it, because that's not the place you want to be. It doesn't serve who you are. Get home early, pack your foods, get to the gym early the next day, live your life the way you want to. Yeah. And it's going to be hard at first because, again, 1% of the population actually gives a shit about their future.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that 1% is looking for other people just like them to be part of their 1%. So you think you're alone, you're not. There's people out there just like you, just as quote unquote weird as you, that are looking to stick together and get these goals together.
Yeah, and that's like I said, that's another thing that I hate the most is people are always worried about what other people are going to think about them, and that's. You can't let that happen. You can't worry about being part of the group, part of the cool kids. You know what I mean? You'll be part of. Tell you what, if you start to make a change and people start to see you make a change, you'll become a part of that. You always hear that when you're a kid: be a leader, not a follower. Don't worry about what the group's doing. Be that leader. If you do this and you stick to it and you're passionate about it, people will follow you. You don't have to worry about hanging out in the cool kid crowd. You'll create the cool kid crowd, and it'll be a more positive environment and better off in the long run. You'll be helping other people, which again makes. It'll change you as a person just helping other people. But again, don't worry about being part of the cool crowd, have to go out and drink every night or go and party because that's what your friends are doing.
Or whatever. It could be anything.
Right? But you can set the standard. You can make the change and then you be that, and that change be part of the new norm for your crowd and everything. So
yeah, and people will fool you. They'll put on a show as if they're authentic and they have similar goals, but you have to be you have to be cognitive and aware of that, and those are also distractions and staying focused towards your goal. So, this is kind of an open topic here. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you see? Because I mean, I have the answers, my own answers to this, just through learning and vision, and working with people. But what do you think causes people to? How do you get people back on track? Because this is another big thing we deal with. Yeah, you already set those goals and guidelines. You sat with them. They're pumped up about it, and then all of a sudden
You ready?
Yeah.
Unconditional love, as corny as that sounds. I am there for someone regardless, because we're gonna fail. I failed 1,000 times. I failed people 1,000 times.
Yeah, I lost members because I failed, and I learned not how to lose a member again.
I've been distracted.
Yep. I still screw up all the time.
Right. And so,
but how do you say?
Yeah.
But the thing is talk about this, because
I say, Bob, this is the third time you've come and left over the last 8 years.
Yeah, but
I'm a member, Bob.
I'm talking to people. Forget Bob.
Yeah.
Forget Bob.
I'm
talking about Julia out there, who's not a member of the gym, and they're just watching this podcast. Because again, they're not always going to have it. There's people in Chicago that listen to this. Friends of my cousins who send me messages.
Okay.
I'll never be able to work with them. You know what I mean, one-on-one like that. But how do you get them to be self-aware and get themselves back on track? Like, what do you like? What do they need to do? Like, for me, I tell them it's important to make sure you have a visual of something to always go back to. People always say, I don't know if that really works, but like, I always have a visual. Like me trying to get back, guys, you could take a look at this. It looks weird. Someone asked me the other day, like, I've gained a little bit of weight. Okay.
Yeah.
So especially with running a new business, a startup company, this was me last year in 8 weeks. From October 24th to December 24th, I had lost 15 pounds and my body fat dropped down to like 7%. I gained a little bit of weight back, not much. I mean, I'm not even close to where I was last year, but here it is. I literally, my home screen of my phone, every time I open up my phone,
that's it.
There's a picture of what I looked like last year so that I can constantly remind myself. And I'm on my phone all the time. This is a rare occasion that I'm on my phone is when I'm doing these podcasts, but I work from my phone. It's a mobile computer. So I'm always on my phone, and that picture is always reminding me. I don't have somebody else to go to talk to about my goals and situation, but that's what I do. I literally have a visual for myself all the time, whether you put an elastic band around your wrist and write your goal on the elastic band so that it's there. I tell people to put elastic bands around a cabinet where their junk food is, so there's something on that cabinet so that as soon as they see it, it triggers a response to remind them of their goal. Like, what do you think?
It's so subjective because,
I think people need visual.
You need to assess somehow.
Yeah.
And a visual does help.
And that's my trigger.
It's correct. It does help. That helps you. But you talked about visuals earlier. Like, YouTube videos don't do anything for me.
Yeah.
Photos, like Instagram, doesn't do anything for me. But you put something in text or a book, and it does something for me. Everyone learns so differently. There's tactile learners, right?
Yeah.
So just pinching your body fat, right? Because that could be it. Like reassessing that way. It could be.
I do that to myself.
It could be visual like that, where you post photos around your house, Post-it notes, something like that. For me, it would be, possibly keeping a spreadsheet and going in, because that's the way my brain works. Like sitting down, weighing myself once a week, having it in my calendar, and then updating my spreadsheet, then looking the trends. Everyone's so unique. So my first thing, I think people should know what type of learner they are.
Yep.
So that's like rule number one. So what type of learner are you? And then from there, run with it. And then if you are a tactile person, have somebody check your body fat every month, have a trainer, and trust me, that will motivate you. When somebody put those calipers to your skin, the skin fold test, oh man, that is enough to get you motivated. That's so invasive. And so I haven't even done caliper testing, and I'm in the best shape that I've been in 8+ years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so if you're out there in Chicago right now and you happen to listen to this podcast, you need to grab a pen and start making notes. You need to sit down at the coffee shop. Don't put music on, or sit down in your car. If you get distracted at the coffee shop, sit down in your car, clear the distractions. Start thinking about your life 20, 30 years from now. At the end of the day, what people, the biggest thing on their deathbed and when they're 50 years old, or why they switch careers, is because they have a ton of regret. And regret is literally the worst thing you can have in this life. So you got to sit down and you got to look forwards and say, well, how could I not have regret when I'm 10 years older from now? And then people, the statistics show everyone sets timelines for months and a year, but literally the statistics never think about timelines for 10 years or longer. But the truth is, you could accomplish so much more in 10 years than you can in 1 year. So why don't you have that long-term vision?
Yeah.
And so sitting down and writing those 1, 3, 5, 10-year benchmarks.
Yeah, and that's important too, guys. If you're going to have a long-term goal, like I'm always working in 1 year, 2 year, like you said, but if you're going to have a long-term goal, I think goal setting follows the same principles. You have to have smaller goals because they keep you on track.
Right.
They keep you honest and they keep you thinking forward. If you don't have like short-term goals moving into those long-term goals, you'll start to look back a lot and you'll start to think about, oh, what I should have done. How, the long goal, that 30-year plan, that's the top of the peak. That's
true.
If you're sitting at the summit, at the base of that mountain, and the summit is 30 years from now, and all you do is just focus on that goal, the 30-year goal, that's a long way.
So defeating.
It's so defeating because even if you take, say you make 500 feet up and it's still 20,000 feet up, it's so defeating even though you made something, the small steps to get to that goal. So you always need those smaller goals to keep you moving forward and keep you not feeling, because like you said, it's defeating. And then you start to sabotage yourself and then you start thinking negative. That's when the negative thoughts start to happen, because if you make yourself feel like a failure, little by little, you'll start to become a failure. So you really need those small goals. Like you said, set the 30-year, set the 10-year, set the 5-year, set the 4, 3, 2, 1, then start setting them in months. It's important. If you want to stay on track and you want to be successful with the goal that you've set for yourself, you have to have smaller goals to keep working on that. And then from that, you need little triggers that'll keep you, so when you start falling off of that goal, to get you back on and keep moving forward, because we're going to take some steps back. Now, that's reality. That's life. But you need to make sure that, again, you keep moving forward and knock out all the outside voices and people talking to you. If you have a goal, stay on that goal, stay on that vision, do it because you want it to. You set that goal for an emotional reason. Nobody sets goals for, I don't know if there's anyone that's ever set a goal for a non-emotional reason. You don't just write things up on the day and be like, I want to do that because...
Well, that's what a trigger is. Textbook. It's a brain process that connects to a feeling. And something that really hits home for you.
Yeah, it's going to be an emotional reason why. So you always have to go back to what's that emotional reason. I want to lose weight because I want to feel better. That it's not that. I mean, I gain weight too in the off season because I want to get stronger. So I have conflicting goals, which sometimes plays. It's not a good thing to do, but at the same time, as I set my goals smaller, they're conflicting goals sometimes. Sometimes I need to get stronger. I'm not going to take steroids. I'm not going to take supplements that are going to make me stronger. I'm going to do it naturally with hard work and eating right. But at the same time, if I want to get stronger, I have to put some weight on. I mean, that's just the way it works. I'm not going to lose weight and get stronger. It's something that's not going to happen. But then the summertime comes rolling around, the beginning of the year, and I want to look good with my shirt off, running around on the beach with my kids. So then it's like, okay, now I've got to try to burn all that fat off. And again, it's not excessive amounts of fat. We're talking like 10 pounds here and there, but still, now I have to set a new goal. What's the trigger? The triggers I want to be outside with my shirt off, with my kids on. I'm a fitness professional. I want to look the part. I want to look good, even though I know I'm healthy, even when I gain 10 pounds or lose 10 pounds. But for me, these goals are important to me. And they're emotional goals. I never set a goal. I want to be ripped up because I want to be ripped up. Like, that just doesn't happen. Something emotional set that goal for me, and again, that's what this podcast is about. And this is why I wanted Dave to come on to kind of talk about those little things, how to get you, those little triggers to help you be successful with your goals. Do you have anything else you want to add? Other than you love everybody.
I do love it.
I can go on this podcast literally for me.
How long have we been going on for?
40 minutes.
40 minutes?
Yeah. But this podcast for me, I mean, I'm going to get Dave on here a lot, just like my old partner, Matt, who was on. There's some people that I really, truly enjoy talking with all the time. Me and Dave talk a lot. I've known Dave for 8 years now, whether he likes me or not.
It's good, man. You were so different from me, but
that's what it's like, a great relationship, man.
It's like my wife, man. She's off the hook.
Yeah, we would never make it, me and Lauren. You and my wife would never make it either. You're too mellow. Me and Lauren would have killed each other already. Our relationship would have lasted about 3 days, and someone would be dead in the Housatonic River.
I mean, anything like in terms of goals, I know you mentioned like games athletes and stuff like that, and
know your place
so
too.
I have a thought process too on I have a thought on like people that have left my gym and people that have gone to my gym. It's just as evidence that it's the person that initiates change. It's not anyone else. You have to look deep and dive deep and find the reason and then execute. But I've had people leave my gym and get in better shape.
Yeah.
Right. And then I have people come to my gym and get in amazing shape. And I can't claim credit for any of that.
No.
I set the environment.
Yep. You set the workout.
I set the workouts.
You
I have good
designed it.
coaching.
Yep.
I have good space. And so, but it's really the person that owns that, right? And so we've had people that have gone to the CrossFit Games and regionals. I know everyone, I always tell them never to hashtag my gym or me.
Yeah.
And I write programming and I'm up all hours of the night and I've invested a lot of time in people, but that's because they give me something back too, right? They've made me a better professional, but I can't claim that too. The people that have gone to the games from our gym, the only thing I could say is attention to detail, man.
Yeah.
Like those people are detailed. Like if I asked someone like John Lynch or Lauren, how many workouts they're going to get in this week, they're going to tell me. If I'm going to tell them like what their competition, where they standing and where they're going to fall in the open, they're going to give me a roundabout number and they're going to tell you for each workout and they're going to tell you what time they're going to do those workouts, how many times they're going to repeat them, what they have to sacrifice to get there, right? The detail that these people put in is tremendous. So when we look at someone who is achieved something, a millionaire, a games athlete, a high level attorney, whatever.
Attention to detail.
You just have to know that there was 10, 15 years of work and attention and detail that went into that. Yeah. So what's it say? It takes 10 years to have an overnight success. Like I'm 8 years into this business and I only feel like I'm getting good now.
Yeah.
And I've put in a lot of time. Only now I feel like I'm actually doing something. So just be committed to yourself and the process. And you're right. If you look up, that mountain is tremendous. So you got to have those little benchmarks along the way. But don't let it fool you. Anything good in life takes a lot of attention to detail, a lot of work, a lot of commitment, a lot of sacrifice. But listen, you can live the American dream. I'm Puerto Rican and I grew up, I say that because I grew up in Bridgeport and my parents are first generation and we had nothing. When I say nothing, and I didn't know any better because my parents were so good and so loving and they always encouraged me. And now, I'm not the most successful gym owner. I'm sure there's people out there making $350 a year, $250 a year.
But you're successful for yourself.
I have never, listen to me guys, I have never been happier in my life.
Oh, and don't compare that. Yeah. And don't compare other people to you. Everybody's different, health-wise, nutrition, body-wise. Don't compare anyone else's goals or their success to you. Like you said, you're not as successful as a gym owner per se, but you're successful in what you're trying to accomplish because that was your goal. So guys, be successful, set yourself goals, and work hard. Don't ever stop working. It's not easy. Nothing rewarding is easy. It takes work, and keep grinding and do not stop. Dave, thank you for coming on. Yeah. Hopefully we'll have Dave on again in 7 years from now. Maybe we'll be talking about something else. But no, thank you guys so much for coming on, listening yet again, and keep sending me the emails. I bring guests on from the questions that you guys have that people send me questions. So guys, hopefully we answered some of your questions. Yeah, thank you for being on, Dave, and guys, thank you for checking us out.
Awesome.
Till next week.